You know that dream of YouTube success, right? Going viral, building this amazing community. We all have it. But let's be real for a second. The reality is a lot harsher. Today, we're going to dig into why so many creators struggle, and more importantly, what that successful 1% does that's so different. Let's dive in.
Okay, first, let's just try to wrap our heads around the scale we're talking about. There are over 155 million channels on YouTube right now. That's more than the entire population of Russia. It's a literal ocean of content.
Now, out of that massive number, a staggering 90% of them will never even hit the first big milestone, 1,000 subscribers. Think about that. 9 out of every 10 people who start just never get there.
And what about actually making money from it? Well, that's where the numbers get even more brutal. Only a tiny 6% of channels ever manage to get monetized and earn a single dollar from all their hard work.
And that shiny plaque for 1 million subscribers, the dream goal, the odds are just astronomical. Less than 0.05% of channels ever make it. That's just one channel for every 2,000 that exist. Wow. So yeah, when you put it all together, the picture is pretty stark. A 99% struggle or fail rate. But hang on. The point of this explainer is not to discourage you. It's the exact opposite. It's to show you the roadmap that the successful 1% use to break through that wall.
See, here's the thing. Almost every single creator who fails follows the exact same path. It's so predictable that once you see it, you can make sure you avoid it. It's a story that always starts with tons of excitement and almost always ends in frustration.
This whole journey really breaks down into 3 distinct stages. First, you've got these completely unrealistic expectations. Then you fall into what's called the how-to trap. And finally, you get totally lost in a maze of really bad advice.
It all starts right here. People jump in thinking, hey, I'll just upload a video and people will find it. Or, man, if I can just get one viral hit, I'm set for life. They see getting 4,000 watch hours as the final boss, and then boom, the money just starts rolling in. But when the reality of the grind actually hits, that's when the motivation just tanks.
So what happens then? Well, creators go right back to YouTube and they start searching for how to get more views. But the problem isn't the advice itself. It's that you get stuck in this loop of watching and not doing. You watch a video, your brain gets a little dopamine hit, you feel like you're making progress, but your channel hasn't changed at all.
And this leads straight to the most dangerous stage, the misinformation maze. There are so many channels out there promising you a quick fix. Just change this one secret setting, or use this one hashtag to go viral. They're preying on your desire for a shortcut, and it distracts you from the only thing that actually moves the needle, putting in the real work to get better and create real value.
But even for the creators who are smart enough to avoid those traps and find good advice, there's an even bigger hurdle waiting. And honestly, this is where most of the people who are left quit. It's the giant gap between knowing what you're supposed to do and actually having the skill to do it.
Think about it this way. You can watch 100 videos telling you that you need a great thumbnail with a high click-through rate. Awesome. But that knowledge doesn't magically make you a good graphic designer. You know good editing keeps people watching, but that doesn't mean you can suddenly edit like a professional. There's only one way to get those skills: experience.
So, the million-dollar question, how do you bridge that skill gap? How do you actually join the 1%? Well, it all comes down to 9 core principles. And look, these aren't secrets or hacks. These are the fundamental rules of the game that separate the people who make it from the people who get stuck.
So let's run through the first 5 keys. These are all about your mindset and your strategy. It's everything from having the right expectations to the absolute importance of not quitting too soon. But I really want to zoom in on 2 of the most powerful and maybe controversial ones: persistence and this idea of stop trying to be unique, at least when you're starting out. First up, don't quit early. This is huge. People see a creator like Saklan Khan, whose very first video on a new channel went viral, and they call it an overnight success. What they don't see is his old channel, the one where he made over 500 videos, practicing and grinding and learning how to do research and scripting and editing for years. Success is always built on a mountain of work that nobody ever sees.
Okay, now for that controversial one. Stop trying to be unique. I know, it sounds counterintuitive. New creators always think they need some brilliant, original idea nobody's ever had. But actually, the opposite is true. The smartest thing you can do is to steal like an artist.
This doesn't mean you plagiarize. It means you study what's already working, you deconstruct it, and you learn the fundamentals from the best.
And the process is actually super simple. First, you just analyze the top channels in your space. What are the common patterns in their titles, their thumbnails, their editing style? That becomes your foundation. And then, once you've built that solid base, you add your own special sauce, your unique selling point. That could be your personality, your humor, your unique way of explaining things.
All right, on to the final 4 keys. Now, these are all about focus and working smart. This is where we get into defining your niche, being consistent, and knowing what it's time to pivot. But let's zoom in on one that is a total game changer, the 80-20 rule.
The 80-20 rule will change how you see everything. It just means that 80% of your results will come from only 20% of your effort. On YouTube, that critical 20% is 3 things: the video idea, the packaging, which is your title and thumbnail, and the hook in the first 30 seconds. Everything else matters, sure, but those 3 things, they deliver almost all of the results.
So we've laid it all out. We've looked at the path to failure and we've cracked the code for success. We've seen that it's not about gaming the algorithm or finding secret settings. This whole journey is about something way more fundamental. In the end, it really all boils down to this one simple idea. So many people are in love with the idea of being a YouTuber, the fame, the title, but very few people are actually in love with the process, the craft of making videos. The successful 1%, they love the craft.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. Forget the hacks, forget the shortcuts. The real path is about patiently building your skills, being persistent enough to push through the failures, and setting the right expectations from day one. That is the entire game.
So, there it is. The blueprint is right in front of you. The question isn't what you know anymore, it's about what you're going to do. Looking at everything we just covered, what's the one key you're going to start applying first?